welcome everyone. I'm Serena Shadeen, the Executive Director at the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined with Delia Morgan, the owner of Walkn on Water. So Delia, please tell me a little bit about Walkn on Water and what you guys do there.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're in a toy store. So Walkn on Water originally started, this summer will be 4 years. So we started actually in a school bus. Originally I'll start back. We started actually in Wainwright. My parents have a business there. So I kind of wanted to test the market with toys. So I started originally in Wainwright and started testing some toys there and seeing how they would go without taking that huge overhead cost. And then a lot of my friends were like, how do you bring those toys to Lloydminster? So I started, I bought an old school bus, ripped the seats out of the school bus and started selling toys in this school bus, and kind of would drive around Lloyd and sell at farmers markets or whatever to test kind of the market here. And it went over really well. So then now we are in a house. So so we do toys, we sell toys. And I was thinking about this question actually when you sent it to me at first, because I think it's a lot more than just selling toys. To me, it's like an experience that we give people when they come through the door. So it's a fun environment for kids to come and just kind of experience. So it is a little more than selling toys, but yes, we sell toys here.
I love going into your store. Whenever I go, like I love the house atmosphere. It's so cute. And then also I love the type of toys you carry because they're very educational. So when I'm looking for toys for my son or for my nieces and nephew, I love all your like science kits, all that stuff. They're educational toys as well. So I love that.
That's awesome. Yes, we have fun, but you're right. I try to find those things that there's like, the kids will probably know like STEM learning, like what is it teaching you? Science, technology, engineering, and math. And they're starting to make a lot of toys like that. Parents are loving it. Grandparents love that. So yeah.
So tell me about when you very first like started up in Wainwright to today. How many years has that been?
Yeah. So this summer it'll be, well, this location in Lloydminster here in the house, we'll be celebrating our 4-year anniversary this summer. But if I think back, like the bus was before that. So I think that was probably about 6 years ago. And then 7 years ago, we were probably started like tapping the market in Wainwright. So I would say probably 7 years I've been doing this, but bricks and mortar, as you call it, like physically in Lloyd as a house toy store would be 4 years.
Okay. And I know that like you used to come to our trade show. So is that kind of how it kind of, I guess, starting a business? How do you go about starting a business? Like you said, you tested the water in Wainwright. You used to come into our trade show. I'm assuming that was when you still come to our trade show, but I'm assuming that's when you were in the bus. So kind of tell me a little bit about the growth and development of your business and how you started a business. Did you need, business plan, funding, financing, all that fun stuff?
Yes. Okay. Love these questions. So originally, like I love, if someone is interested in starting a business, I think those trade shows are like dead on. It's a great way to test a market without having a huge amount of overhead, signing a lease, getting into something. Those trade shows were able for me to also test. So yes, I tested it in Wainwright. Yes, I did it in the bus, but those trade shows were a way. I did it in Lloyd. I did it in Cold Lake, Bonnyville, Wainwright. I did it in the kind of like the trading area around to really see if they would go. And it also gave me that experience. Like, is this something I enjoy? Do I like it? Like, is it something I want to do? So I love the trade show idea. And even today, like as a business, like it's a lot of work now that I have a bricks and mortar, but I would still do it because it's not only for advertising, but it's a way to get out there and show people your product. And yes, it's important to sell where you're at those shows, but it's also a huge exposure, the amount of people that go into those. Like after, COVID's over and everybody's out, I think it's an amazing way for someone to try to, get out there and try business fun. So I loved your question about financing because I took in school that, this is how you start a business. You get a business plan, you go to the bank, you get financing. If they approve you or not, then your business will go. Totally not how I did it. That's why I love that question, because people think, okay, yeah, if I want to start a business, I have to go about it this way. And if the bank says no, that's it. No. And you know what? Most entrepreneurs, I think, like, would I have called myself one a while ago? Probably not. But I think it's this drive inside me that it's like, we're gonna make a go of this. So no bank is gonna tell me no. So, but that being said, like, for myself, I think that taught me a lot, because it wasn't how it was in the textbook. And I think that's how a lot of businesses, if you were to ask small businesses, it wasn't what you read in school. It's it's what you learn along the way. So for myself, I decided not to go that route. I wanted to see if I could do it. So I started small. I started with, like, say, I don't know, just throwing out numbers. I started with a $250 order and I made it 5. Then I made that 5 and I made it 1,000. And then I went, 1,000 and made it 2. And if I was to give any advice to anyone wanting to start a small business, I would do it that way. Because the hardest part is if you do it how they say in the book, and business plan's great, but my business plan didn't look like those business plans we did in school. How many pages? My business plan was on paper, sketching it out, like, this is what it was going to look like, right? I have how many different notepads and I'm writing it, or I'll find a piece of paper and I'm writing it on there, or so, like, the idea is there, but not a lengthy business plan that's 30 pages long. But with the financing, though, I wanted to get back to that, because don't anyone, like, I wanted to say this to the kids, is that if you don't have the money, that's okay. You'll figure out a way. Because I just started small and I grew and I grew and I grew. And I think that that's important, because if you go to the bank and you get financing and you have now those monthly payments that you have to make and your sales aren't there, that's really hard. And that's a lot of stress on a business just starting out. So for me, I didn't do that. And I grew it slowly. And I think there's something to be said for that, not just go and buy $100,000 worth of inventory. And now how are you going to pay for that if you have no one walking through the door? So start small and then grow. So yeah, it's totally backwards what I learned in school.
I think that would be the scary part as an entrepreneur, would be taking on all of that debt, all of that overhead, and just that would be quite intimidating. I would think it would be anyways.
It would, yeah, absolutely. And it's smart to do a business plan, yes, but it doesn't have to look like that either. Like, how am I going to market my business? How am I going to sell it? Sometimes marketing your business is you are the one doing it. You are the one, like, I think of myself, I'm the one selling the toys. I'm the one ordering the toys. I'm the one doing social media. I'm the one doing payroll. So at first you are all of those things. And then slowly, and I'm still slowly growing. I'm only 4 years in, so I still have lots to learn. Mm-hmm. I remember taking in school, though, I wanted to say this, that 1 to 5 years is crucial, whether a business makes it or not. And I'm in year 4, and I would say, well, besides COVID, but COVID has helped the toy industry business, like, because there's a lot of people, finding things to do for their kids. So this last year has helped my business. But that 1 to 5 years is crucial, because you're just growing. And I would say I'm year 4 this summer, and I am now starting to see repeat customers. So that is right. Like, that 1 to 5 years is definitely kind of an incubator period where you're testing the market, you're growing. So those years are crucial, and I'm starting to now see the benefits of that in year 4. Yeah.
Good. So you touched a little bit on this just a minute ago, but what's your day-to-day life like? What do you do the average day in your store?
Yeah. So a little bit kind of what I touched on, like, social media is huge. That's probably where I sell majority of my stuff. And then to push that onto our website. So for me right now, social media is a daily thing, minute thing by minute. My website, updating it. And like I said, I kind of wear all those hats right now. As I grow, I think hopefully I'll be able to, I will have somebody here to be able to do the, just the cashier side, and then I can focus on all of the other things.
Well, how many staff do you have? Because I've been in there before. You do have a cashier stuff in there sometimes, or?
I do, yeah. So right now I have a part-time staff here in Lloyd, and COVID kind of changed that. I had 2, but now we're trying to do more on our own. So it's just my husband and I here, and then we have a part-time girl here in Lloyd, and then in Wainwright we have a full-time staff there, because that one's still just growing. So that's a completely other story. But yeah, that one's just in year 2. And so it's still got some growth to do there, but we do have full-time staff and I'm lucky to have family there right now helping too. So, yeah, so I would say, yeah, like day to day would be ordering, social media. But then there's also a lot of things in the store, right? Managing staff, managing what it looks like in here. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots to do. Yes.
Yeah.
But ordering's a big one too, and staying on top of the trends and watching what's happening in the toy industry. And yeah, ordering them now.
How do you stay on top of the trends? Is there, I don't know, buying shows, or do you just look online, or what?
Yeah. So, with normally before COVID, there was buying shows, so you would go to the buying shows. But I honestly think it's a huge expense as a business to go to a lot of those buying shows. And for myself, I feel like social media helps with that, following other trends. I follow other toy stores. I follow them closely. A lot of this, are into the States. I follow a lot there because it's almost like the trends start and then they move up in here. So to follow what they're doing, you almost get ahead of the 8 ball. TikTok is huge right now. So my daughter's in her 20s, so she's helping me with that side because it's just one more platform to learn. But it's crazy the amount, because that's kind of my market, the target market. So that's another thing we're trying to learn. But that's always evolving to try to, so. And that's another thing I want to say about the business plan. Business plan today might look like this, but tomorrow it looks like this. It's always evolving and changing, just like the trends are. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess probably the last question we'll touch on is, what kind of trends do you see developing over the next, couple of years, or currently even?
Right. Well, trends, I don't know, that's always changing in toys, but things will be in today and then they'll be out. And then next year, all of a sudden, something that's sitting on the shelf will all of a sudden be back in. So I think toy trends, like, they'll kind of come back around. Like fidgets are crazy right now, but those will slow down and then they'll probably be in when someone else picks it up. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody says, oh, squishies are in. It's like, I've been selling those for 4 years. So, like you just follow. One thing I wanted to just mention, I was just thinking about in my head, about education. So I did go to school and I took my marketing and I took commerce. I have a degree in commerce, but I wanted to mention this to the kids, is that it was important for me to go to school and take that, but it didn't make me an entrepreneur. So I feel yes, education is important, not only like learning what I learned, but I think it also made me believe in myself that I could do it. Like I could, do a degree. Well, first of all, I started with marketing diploma and I thought, okay, it was more of a thing for myself. Like I could do this, And so when I finished my diploma, then it was like, can I do the degree? Am I smart enough? Can I do this? And then when I finished my degree, it's like, yes, I can do it. So, and looking at the business, I'm glad I had it, but really day to day, is the things that I learn in a business is things you learn as you go. Like I remember taking payroll, but at school, how many years ago, but really, you kind of forget some of those things until you're in it. Right. But, I just wanted to say that to them. If it's, I think having an education was very important because it got me through, I'm in my 40s now. So it got me through my 20s and my 30s and had a good paying job. But now I think if anything, it gave me the confidence to know that I can do it. So I just wanted to say that to them too. Education, yes, is important. And I'm glad that I have it, but it gave me the drive that I have today. But learning a business is in the day-to-day, and I'm learning as I go.
I find that at the chamber as well. Like, even if I think back to my own, I went to the U of S, got my bachelor's of commerce. And when I also hire on staff as an employer, what I have kind of noticed more so is that having, your bachelor's or your education, I find it's more that just the employee is more of a self-starter. Like if you were to say, I will give, can you develop this plan and implement it? And that they're more able to just take the work on themselves, figure it out and do it.
Yes.
Whereas when you come out of university, I don't know if I've necessarily used any of my economics courses, but
No.
I thought that's the biggest difference I find with somebody that has a higher education is their ability to just take something on and roll with it.
Yes, that's a good point. You're right. Exactly. It teaches you all those things. And also, I remember, I don't know if you took this with your degree, but organizational behavior,
Yep.
how to get along with others. It was like this course at the time, but it's like, yes, that comes into play. It's about working together as a team, and what your qualities that you have may be completely different to someone else. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means maybe I suck at math, but I'm really good at marketing, so to work together. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us, Delia. Is there any last minute things you want to add?
No, if they haven't been, stop in and Walkn on Water, check it out. I mean, it's not just for kids. Yeah, feel free to come. It's fun to play. I mean, a lot of them might come through and then they'll see like, oh yeah, I had this as a kid or I had this as a kid. It's just a fun place. So stop in if they haven't come in and check it out. Wainwright or Lloyd.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Delia.